With just a couple of episodes left in this series, it's time to give this car a heartbeat.
Alright, it's time to build this engine. Now, Rotary Engine's pretty basic in its operation, but it's an engine performance use, so it still requires some exact measurement and tolerances to get right. So let's do some of the machining right now and get prepared for this engine build.
We start with some light machining. The clearancing of the spark plug area, enlarging holes in the engine for extra dowels, machining of rotors for more clearance as well as the eccentric shaft. The final step is a turbo spec bridge port, and after a thorough cleaning, we're ready for assembly.
Okay, so with everything clearanced, machined and mic'd up, we're ready to assemble it. Now, this part of the process, I'm pretty sure I could just about teach anyone to assemble and put it together within a couple of hours. So with that being said, I might get you to build this one.
Well, it'll be apart anyway after about 10 passes after it blows up, and then we can just LS it.
I've had just about enough of this crap. We've machined all these bearing surfaces for greater clearance. Now we're running higher oil pressure, and also we need greater clearance at higher RPM. We've machined the face, the tips, the face, and also the face of these rotors. So along this surface, the tips, the face, and also these surfaces along here. These have been bridge ported, so I've enlarged this main port and then also added a secondary bridge there. They're meant to be two-piece, so it's not like it's broken or anything. You can see here it seats on there. This piece seats on this little bit here. I just simply go in and keep on pushing it in. So now the center plate is in. Just fitting dowels so I can...
They're the standard dowels, yeah?
Yeah, these are your factory, the factory dowels. This is what really holds the engine together. Don't worry about dowels and through bolts and that. This is the glue that binds the rotary engine together.
So these are all the standard ones, yeah?
So these are the standard dowels, and we've got 4 extra ones for more rigidity. So we'll just fit these.
So the extra ones, what's there normally?
Just these holes.
Oh yeah.
So these have been machined out on the mill to fit that. So they're very, very tight, a tight fit because they're really precision machined. So yeah, we'll just fit those now. A little tap, 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 and they'll seat. So time to fit the rear rotor. First of all, I'll just lubricate the living hell out of this rear rotor lobe with Penrite's Finest HPR 40. If you're using piston engines, you could use, people use assembly lube in it. I just assemble it with the same engine oil using HPR 40. It's very thick weight oil, so because the engine's going straight in the car, we're probably going to run it very shortly anyway. It's not going into storage or anything, so the oil will stay on that bearing surface pretty well. These rotor engines have really, really good startup oil pressure net anyway, so I'm not really worried about the oil draining away or not getting to where it needs to get to.
So the first rotor you used no more gaps, but now using liquid nails.
Liquid nails are extra strength. You see there's no dowels on this side of the engine, so this liquid nails helps make this engine even stronger.
That's race spec.
If it can hold houses together, it should be able to hold a rotor engine together.
Yeah.
I'll just drive some of these dowels in now. That should do it. Pre-toleranced rotor. There is no left, right, upside down or whatever. There is only one way that this rotor will go in. Putting it in its place until it drops in. You'll see it just do exactly that. This series engine, it just drops in exactly onto its journal like that. It's exactly the same process as we did on the front. We'll pull out these corner seals, then pull out the apex seal and put the apex seal springs in there. These are the holes where the 4 dowels are. Now, when we're drilling through, it actually drills through the front plate. So the front plate isn't, these holes will go all the way through. So we use the longer bolts with the M on them, which are generally found here in the engine. There's only normally one of them. You can see the little M stamped on this is more of a later model one. So what we need to do now is put a little bit of sort of what they say aviation seal gasket maker on the end of these bolts, and that'll just seal that when we torque it up. Just go around, do initial really gentle torque up, just to pull the engine together uniformly.
Yeah.
So all the bolts are torqued up to our torque specifications, and just rotating it now because it's time to work on the front of the engine. This old front stack assembly governs essentially how much this eccentric shaft can move up and down. This little spacer here, you can see it's got a V. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a V on it. They come in many different depths, and that depth is what governs the end float. So if this doesn't move up and down enough, you can use a different size one to get the exact end float that you do want. So these bearings also, if you were to change your front seal, a lot of people, like if you got this front timing cover is leaking, it's not just a simple job to pop that seal out, because you have to actually take the hub out. Once you take the hub out, you lose the load that's holding all this assembly together. So you've always got to be very careful, because what can happen is that you can see there's not much retaining all this assembly here. These can actually move, and then you can pinch this little Torrington bearing, and that's basically engine out once that happens. This is a rear counterweight, and the flywheel will bolt to this. So you can see there it's 4. So we started at 0 and it's gone up to 4, which that's perfectly to look at the start on the spec, and spec from 304 to 7.07 mil. So that's yep, that's fine. So here's the oil pump. You can see it's still assembled. I do not recommend taking this bolt off when you're assembling this setup. If you take this bolt off when you're building an engine, it's a very weak sort of keyway, so you can actually break it when you're trying to reassemble it. So anyone who's pulling apart of an engine, if you're going to doing it because you're taking it to an engine builder trying to save money, don't undo that nut, please. Once we've tightened off that, we'll insert the keyway where it's got to go and torque the rest of it down. We've got the keyway in, so that means now everything's tied together. This is the crank angle sensor drive. So you can see here we've got a timing cover gasket. We've got a little O-ring. This is an early style. They updated this on the later model engines. The later model engines have a larger hole here and a recess with a Teflon O-ring to retain that O-ring. This is a pretty big point that first timers in that often get wrong as well. This O-ring here, if you pinch it or it blows out or whatever, that's almost engine out again. Same deal. You'll have either a symptom of really low oil pressure or no oil pressure, and no oil or low oil pressure is no good. So now the test. There's plugs in one end. I wonder what it's like. There's still plugs in one of them. Done. Okay.
In our next instalment of Project REDLINE, we look at driveline upgrades. If you'd like to see a rotary engine build in more detail, then check out some of our previous uploads.